The nice thing about life insurance and back at the old company that we worked at is, it was my first time not having, a boss, right? Not having a person that's like, hey, you need to show up at this time, you need to do this, right? So the concept of procrastination had to leave me, like, or else I wasn't going to make money. Like, you had to make those calls, you had to do, X, Y, and Z. And if you didn't, and you convinced yourself that you had to do this and all of these different things, then you weren't going to get paid, or maybe not. You may get paid, but probably not, and it's going to dwindle and it's going to slow down, right?
Well, thanks for joining us this week on the Elite Sales Podcast. Joined in studio by Yoel Inalam, John Bacaron, co-host.
Yo.
We have Joanne Rosales, engineering behind the screen.
Hey, everyone.
She's helping us out today. So before we get into it, I'm really excited to have our guest today that we've meaning to have on for a while now. But before we get into that, it's 420.
Hey.
And you guys know what that means?
Earth Day.
It means tax day just passed.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what you guys are thinking.
Wow.
Earth Day.
Okay, I didn't know.
But
It's a Snoop Day.
but yeah, when it comes to taxes, it's painful, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone enjoys it.
It can be if you make it painful,
Yeah, I mean, even if you're just
It doesn't feel
indifferent
good
about it.
I guess.
I'm like, the government just arbitrarily just said, hey, we're taking about half of what you made just because we feel like it. And then I'll be like, hey, no, I don't want to do that. And then they're like, okay, you're going to go to jail.
Yeah. It's funny. Like I love how they don't tell you how much you owe. You just kind of have to guess. And then if they audit you and you're wrong, then you're screwed. It's like, it's very funny.
Well, you're not screwed. It's just you somehow still just owe it.
Yeah.
And it's like, or you might get a penalty with it and whatever. But
Go to jail.
Well, they kind of extended it a couple of days this year because it's typically on the 16th.
Mhm.
And then this year was doing the 18th.
That's Easter.
Because of Easter. So I brought it a couple of days before the 16th, brought it to my tax guy. And then I'm like, here you go. And he looked up and he's like, hey, you're earlier than normal. And then I'm like, I could come back in a couple of days if you want. And then he's like, well, you can file for an extension and whatever. I'm like, I don't want to do it anyway. So let's just take care of it now.
Nice.
Yeah.
But, the reason why I bring this all up is because, last week we talked about the importance of a small business and, making sure that you do your part. We're all affected by taxes in this country.
Mhm.
Okay. But part of the reason why I personally delayed as much as I could and just waited till 2 days before what should have been the deadline, but I waited till the last week, as I normally do. And, I think about it all the time because, like, my mom still, like, nags me and she'll be like, hey, did you submit your taxes yet? Did you pay it? And I'm like, I got this, Mom.
Mom, leave me alone.
I'm an adult.
Get out of my room.
But no, but if you think about it, it's like, for me personally, I wait till the very end because I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to deal with it. And I don't want to, if I could put it off, I'll put it off for as long as I can. So what we're going to be talking about today is procrastination.
Like it.
So as far as procrastination, we actually got a couple of stories from you guys, but I actually looked up why people procrastinate, which seems kind of stupid, but lack of motivation, fear of failure, perfectionism, people get overwhelmed, poor time management, lack of focus. Okay, so those are the reasons why. These are the type of people. I did some research because obviously everyone has a general idea of what procrastination is. Everyone does it to some degree. Some people are worse at it than others. But as far as the type of people that participate in procrastination, is people that have depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, OCD, ADHD, poor habits, or if they lack a concept of time inconsistency, meaning like, you got to do it. So the future self of you wants to do it, but your present self doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I like that.
And I think everybody can kind of relate to that because, look, we all run our own businesses here and we all have aspects that we enjoy. We all have aspects we don't really care for. And then there's some aspects that we're kind of indifferent about. We just know we need to do it. So we do it.
Right.
Okay? So as far as you guys, John, you just had surgery yesterday, right?
Yeah. So I had a dental infection, which I knew, and I procrastinated on this. And I had a lymph node. You guys can probably see my right side is still swollen. And I started feeling this like 2-3 weeks ago. I was like, dang, what the heck is this little lump? And then of course you go to WebMD. Oh crap, it's cancer. And then it's like, okay, there's also possibly what do you call it, a bacterial infection or a tooth infection. And then, I got family and the nurses, and they're like, yeah, if it's on one side only, it's usually a tooth infection. So I knew, but I don't have dental insurance. So I said, yeah, let me wait this out. Let me see if this will go down.
Just waiting for it to go away on top.
Yeah, maybe it won't go. I'm feeling healthy. My body will take care of it. And then it slowly started getting bigger and bigger and bigger until finally yesterday, 3 weeks in, it started throbbing. I'm like, all right, I think it started hitting my neck. It's starting to hurt to turn. If I open my mouth a little bigger, it's starting to hurt. So, okay, I'm at the gym. I go Google the nearest dentist and I just ask, how much is it for a consultation? Can you guys prescribe me antibiotics? Because I already know what I need to, right? They're like, yeah, we don't know. You have to come in. It's $100. All right, cool, $100. Worth it. Went in. So as soon as like 20-30 minutes from the x-ray, they were like, yeah, it's infected. You got to get oral surgery. You got to get it out. Plus the next molar next to it, you got to get that out because it serves no purpose. It's your wisdom tooth. So you might as well take that out too. So this was like around 11 o'clock, sent me to an oral surgeon at 1:30, took it out 20-30 minutes in. Took it out. But why did I procrastinate? Because I knew it was going to cost me money. Because I knew it was going to be painful, and I waited it until the point of that my current pain is worth relieving than the cost of the pain of money. And that's where usually people wait until whatever your pain point is, it's too much, it's too painful now to not move.
Yeah. And we knew you were procrastinating about it because
I've been
you told me and Joanne like for a few weeks now, and then we try to convince John he had cancer.
Yeah.
We're just trying to scare the guy.
Yeah, it didn't work.
He does the same to us all the time.
Yeah.
So then we're like, do you should go get that checked out? And he's just like, I'll wait.
Yep. Keep waiting, man. But eventuality, whatever you need to do, you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna end up paying a price one way or another.
Well, I mean, I'm glad it turned out to be okay. I'm glad you're okay now. We were the other day. I asked you for a ride.
Oh, here we go.
I
knew you're gonna bring this up. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, so the other day, like I had to bring my car into the shop. I got dropped off here by my mechanic, and then I was like, hey, I go into Joel's office. I'm like, hey, you planning on going to the gym today? Because his gym's near my mechanic,
right?
Somewhat relatively close. So I said, hey, you going to the gym today? And he's like, why? And immediately he's like, and then so I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, if he's going that way, I'll catch a ride with him. If not, I'll make alternative arrangements.
Very like random question. Keep that in mind. Me not knowing why he's asking that question.
I didn't give him any pretext with it or context with it. So I just said, hey, are you going to the gym? And then like he kind of looked at me side-eyed and said, and then he starts kind of trying to explain, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't really care if you go or not. I'm like, I'm just trying to see if I can get a ride.
Yeah. I mean, I just didn't know why he was asking because it was so random. So I was just very confused.
Yeah. So eventually
that's why I was just like, what do you mean? I mean, yeah, probably. I don't know.
It was kind of like a Curb Your Enthusiasm type of exchange.
Yeah.
I was like, we're both on a different page.
Yeah, definitely.
So eventually we ascertained that he is going that direction, and he said he could give me a ride. And then I was like, okay, so what time are you going to go to the gym? And then so I can coordinate to see when I can go pick up my car, let my mechanic know. And then he kind of says like, I don't. Well, I might go first. I might go home, get a change of clothes. I'm back because last time, I don't like working out this time. I don't like working out.
He wasn't trying to gym.
So what happened with the gym that day?
I didn't say I was gonna go get clothes. I live like 45 minutes away. Yeah, no. So what happened was, so we started to come to the gym. I used to wake up and go to the gym every single day of the week, and it wasn't an issue. But then Monday and Thursdays we started having to come into the office a little bit earlier, so I wasn't about to wake up at like 5 a.m. and then go to the gym because I don't like waking up that early.
Okay.
So The thing is, what I know about myself is that if I don't go to the gym right away in the morning, it's probably not going to happen. That's just something I just got to keep it real with myself.
Okay.
So what happens is I'm like, okay, cool, we're coming in early, whatever, I'll work out after. So what happened is I'll work and I'll be like, okay, cool, I'm working, drive, whatever, an hour back home. And then I'll just like sit there, take off my shoes. I worked a full day. I just drove an hour, and like the realisticness of me going to the gym just like starts to dwindle very fast. And I just sit there, I put on something that I'm watching, and I just get tired. So, and the thing is, I have a gym that's near where his shop is, that's close by, but I also have a LA Fitness membership that I go to. So yeah, it's
So did you go?
Knowing, no, I didn't go. So me knowing myself and knowing that I procrastinate, I always try to go in the morning. And if I don't go in the morning, then it's probably not going to happen. So I just know myself and how I procrastinate. So I try to position things in a way where I'm not, going to do that, because, you just got to be honest with yourself. If you know you're not going to do that thing at that date and you need to just knock it out, then you need to just knock it out.
Never plan for failure, though. Always plan for success. Never plan for failure. You're like setting yourself up to fail. You need to plan yourself for success, and then you will not procrastinate. You'll take your mind out of that paradigm of, I'm going to do this behavior. You're going to say, no, I'm going to structure my life around this new idea of this new behavior, and then you will not suffer the consequences of planning for failure. Sorry, just
I like that. Motivational.
Aside from that, just not even planning for it, because failure to prepare is preparing to fail, right?
Yeah.
Although yes. I don't know. I'm not trying to be overly critical about your gym habits.
I love it. Please be.
It was just kind of funny because, like, you're giving me all these reasons, like you're, and I'm like, I don't really care if you go or not. I mean, like, if it makes you feel good, I prefer you to go.
I know he doesn't care, which is what confused me. That's why I was like, why is he asking? Because I know he genuinely doesn't care. So what is like the angle here? I was trying to figure it out. So yeah, I agree. I know you don't care.
So you start giving yourself like second doubts of like, I shouldn't go.
Like,
I'm already tired.
Even when you're in a presentation and you're like talking, but you're like trying to think of what the dynamic is and what you're thinking and what you're going to ask. And like in the middle of when you're talking, like right up, like kind of like what I'm doing right now. Like I'm just rambling, but I'm trying to think of what to say. That's what I was trying to do. Oh, you're just sharp. Actually, John's just sharp. He's just. I
just make fun of my clients.
Okay, yeah, my confusion got me to ramble. It was like an appointment. It was fun.
With this, and then later on that evening, he texted me and he's just like, "Oh, you know what? I'm kind of tired. I'm not going to go." And I'm like, okay. I'm like that. I just thought it was kind of funny because like originally that was the plan, and then like, which I mean, I felt a little bit bad because I'm like, if I altered what his original plan was because I needed a ride, then that was.
But it was funny because when you asked them arbitrarily about it, it's like, yeah, I'll go. I'm gonna go to the gym. Yeah, why?
It was just kind of like a funny exchange, but yeah, at the end of the day, I don't feel like responsible for it because if you really wanted to go, you would have went.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, I'm in full control of my life.
Right. So
I chose not to go.
Did you have another story about procrastination? We kind of.
No, I mean, I had that one, but also like a way that it applies in my life. But I already talked a lot. Let's hear John. Oh, okay.
We were hearing about his tooth.
Oh, yeah, he did kind of talk a lot.
As far as taxes, like he's on time. I do my taxes in October.
Oh, really?
Do you?
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, like
I've already filed extension. Like October.
Oh, wow. Why?
Like before. That's the last day for an extension.
That's my like.
That's what I do about taxes.
Early, like, I think like I try to do things that I don't like right away. Like I go to the gym right away because I'm like I don't enjoy going to like I like it, but I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's easy to just skip out on it. But like the nice thing about life insurance and back at the old company that we worked at is it was my first time not having a boss, right? Not having a person that's like, hey, you need to show up at this time, you need to do this, right? So the concept of procrastination had to leave me, like, or else I wasn't going to make money. Like you had to make those calls, you had to do X, Y, and Z. And if you didn't, and you convinced yourself that you had to do this and all of these different things, then you weren't going to get paid, or maybe not. You may you may get paid, but probably not. And it's going to dwindle and it's going to slow down. Right. And the thing is, if you're not working, no one's going to sit there and be like, hey, get back to work. So the concept of you procrastinating, it just, you can't do it. And that's what's really dope that taught me about the old company that we worked at, and something that I've been able to carry on is like create your own self of urgency, right? Create your own mechanism to be like, hey, dude, get this done, create that busyness in your mind. So yeah, that's it.
Well, I mean, I think with both of these examples here from John and Yoel, including my own stupid tax story, the thing is, like, we got to think about why is it that we don't want to do certain things? Because the thing is, if it was something that wasn't important, we wouldn't even think about it in the first place, right? It was something that didn't have any need in our lives. Like, why would we even consider it? Like, nope, just not going to do it. Let's just put that aside. But all these things that we know that we need to do at a certain point. And then we start putting this on. We start rationalizing in our head. How do I try to put this off for as long as I can? Maybe somehow it's going to magically go away. Maybe it's something I won't need to deal with later. Or, I'll take care of it tomorrow. So it gets to the certain point where, like, what we don't want to do, there's a point in which that it's a level of pain.
Right. Mm-hmm. Your pain point.
And then you got to get past with that action to get past it. And, the odd thing is, and I definitely felt this when I finally went and took it in and then took care of it. And then I'm sure with everything that we've been resisting for the longest period of time, when we finally start doing it, we start realizing it starts to kind of diminish whatever that feeling is as we start doing it. The work, we may not enjoy the work, we may not enjoy that particular action or process or whatever it may be. But the thing is, you start to realize whatever that work was actually is less painful than staying in that position.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not until that level of discomfort or level of fear or whatever it is that drives you to that point of making you compelled to actually make a move at that point. That's when you actually take the action, and then you're like, why didn't I do this before?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think a lot of the times we're so intimidated by, like, say it's a big project or something that's big, like taxes, right? Or like dialing or whatever, or homework. Like, we're so overwhelmed by, like, the size of the project or the amount of discomfort or like how long it's going to take us. Like what I've come to learn, I mean, you can take it, you can use it, whatever, is like in college, what I would do is, like, I would just have really small goals within that particular task, right? Like, for example, like if I was doing a project, like an essay or something, I'd just be like, okay, well, you know what? Say I was watching TV already thinking about this, I would watch TV and then, like, okay, I'll just open your laptop and just like open up the Word document. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that, or like, just type up the intro, or, just set things up first, just almost trying to like crunch it down into smaller pieces, and also having like a time restraint. What I would do is I'd say, okay, I'm going to sit down and do this for an hour. Whatever happens after this hour, I can take a break, I can keep going, whatever, but I'm going to commit to just this hour, even though I know it's not going to take me just an hour. It's going to probably take me the rest of the day. Just having short, smaller goals has really helped with my procrastination through, doing a lot of projects, big projects, and projects that are super important. Like, you get overwhelmed and you start to overthink, and that pressure kind of adds into, you trying to avoid it. So, smaller goals has really helped me out.
Well, smaller goals, and that's actually a point made by James Clear in Atomic Habits.
Yep.
Break it down into more manageable parts. And also another good way of doing it, and this is something I've had to do for myself to try to avoid procrastination. And I've gotten pretty good with it over the years because I've started developing those kind of habits. But the thing he says is to bundle it with something else. Either bundle it with something that's an incentive, or bundle it with a punishment if you don't do it. Right. So then, like, it's like, okay, if I gave myself an ultimatum, I need to take in my taxes before this day, or else I can't drink.
Yeah.
Can't have a drink. Right. And then, like, if I really wanted to drink, it'll be like, okay, well, I guess I need to go and turn in my taxes sooner.
Yeah.
Like that.
So, there's all these little ways that you guys can hack things, and just think about what's really important in your business. Think about what needs to be done. If it's not important, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. but then also like, don't fool yourself and tell yourself things don't matter just because you don't want to do it. Because if you got to look at the ultimate result. Because if you're like, hey, I don't like making phone calls and I don't want to purchase leads. It's okay. You don't have to. But what about when it comes time when your bills come?
Right.
You didn't do all the other steps leading up to this part where you could have been making money. You could have been growing your business. So hopefully that helps a little bit with procrastination. I know we're all guilty of it to some degree. So, let's just try to do the best we can with it and try to improve in that area if we can, and we'll all live better lives.
Right.
Like it. Agree.
But I'm happy to bring on my next guest, someone who apparently doesn't procrastinate.
Yeah.
Because
Nice.
I mean, I'm just basing this entirely off of his results. I haven't had a chance to actually speak in depth with William before, but we have William Bohning on, joining us out of Fayetteville, Arkansas, at least that general area. He works with Andrew Kasperwitz. He works with FFL Paragon. So, William, are you here with us?
Uh-oh.
Yes, I'm here, and I do procrastinate. So, I mean, I think it's a human nature to do. I procrastinate doing this podcast. I think you've been asking me to get on for a couple of months, and I kept kicking the can down the road. So I apologize for that.
Well, I mean, I first of all, I appreciate you having you on, and appreciate you making some time for us, because obviously you could be out running appointments, continuing to add to your business, doing a lot of different things. For you to give back, it means a lot to everyone that's on this call, everyone that wants to learn a little bit more. And also, me personally, I've been wanting to have you on because we've been going over the leaderboard. We've been reading your numbers and just kind of going over. I'm like, I'd be really curious to see what William's doing, if he's doing anything different, or if he's just doing what everyone else is doing that's having success.
Well, I get up and I go to work, run a schedule, and I mean, it's just a business. And if you want to be successful with it, you have to have a schedule, roll your sleeves up, and get things done. We're hard work. Now, am I lagging? I mean,
a little bit,
the internet issues, or
yeah,
we good?
You're lagging a little bit.
Let me see if I can
Internet's
change
procrastinating.
Yeah. All right. Sorry about that.
We can hear you though.
Yeah, audio's fine.
We'll go sit right next to the router.
There you go.
Okay.
That sounds a good idea.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I get up and I go to work just like I would think everyone would do, but roll your sleeves up and make phone calls, set appointments, and get after it.
Yeah, but what's your secret though?
Where's the secret sauce you've been getting it from?
Well, there's no secret sauce. I mean, just fill your day with appointments, and if you have an abundance of appointments, and you can't, I have so many appointments on some days I can't fail.
Absolutely. Which we're going to dive into that a little bit more, William. So before we get going, let's get to know a little bit more about you. How long have you been here? What you do before this? How'd you get into insurance?
Okay.
How'd you get FFL?
Okay. Well, all right. So I haven't been in insurance too terribly long. It's really been a minute. I've been full-time for a year and a half. I was with a practice company before FFL for about 4 months, and realized that better to serve the client, serve the people, would have come over here to FFL. It's better systems, better training, the whole 9 yards, a lot more product availability. Before that, I sold real estate for probably 15 plus years full time. Ran some pretty big teams with Keller Williams. I actually was a team leader CEO in the office at one time for training and different things. Built a pretty big team, being a partner up to third in the region as far as sales. We took it from 79 units to about 470 units in a 3-year period. Just putting systems in place and working hard. I really enjoy the insurance though. I mean, being able to see how it can impact people's lives. I can relate that to my own life as far as how our family, with mom's side, my dad's side, how that has gone. So that's what we do. I transitioned from in-home sales. I've been strictly telesales now for a year, which allows me to service the entire country instead of just here regionally. And I don't put 50,000 miles on my truck anymore a year. So, yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you've seen how it's impacted your mom's side and your dad's side. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, you did. Yeah. So
Can you explain a little bit more?
my mom's side, okay. So my grandfather on my mom's side, he passed away at a younger age, in his mid-50s. No type of insurance in place. Left my grandmother in a situation with debt, having to go work 2-3 jobs to be able to take care of things. My dad's side was business oriented, as far as with convenience stores and grocery stores. Had insurance coverage, had life insurance coverage. So when he passed away, mom's taken care of. All the debt was paid, and able to take care of him, and actually, pass it a little bit on to us kids too. So just the personal reality of it with that made an impact.
It's cool. So what made you transition out of real estate for all those years into insurance? Like, was that something?
Well, I moved from Louisiana. Yeah, I moved from Louisiana. I lived in Louisiana up until about 5 years ago, and I moved to Arkansas. My family and my mom and sister had moved up here years back. I was in a long-term relationship with my wife now at the time. So of course I wanted to move up here to be a little bit closer to her instead of a 10-hour drive every other week. So, and then I was looking for a new career. Everyone had always told me that I would be good at insurance, and I wasn't, younger. I wasn't prepared, ready for it. I couldn't sit down and talk about death with somebody. The reality just wasn't good for me at that point. And so I said, I can do this now. I see the impact it's done for me. And so I went and looked around, actually interviewed with a couple local folks with some agencies local, to do P&C. And it's kind of ironic. It's kind of funny. I think they got the idea that I was a little bit too old and I wasn't going to work hard, which was kind of funny because I could outwork any of those guys. and so I couldn't get employed anywhere. And I'm like, well, this is crazy, So I started looking at final expense and learned what I could about it. And like I said, went with a practice company. Saw that I could do it real good, but needed some more resources and more guns, more bullets to be able to take care of things, and wound up with FFL. Did the in-home, a lot of in-homes for some time, took those systems from real estate and applied those systems here to the insurance. And, we as far as systems and work schedules and some technology, we make things happen.
So how did you find out about FFL, and how did you and Andrew meet?
Well, it was kind of funny. I had actually spoke with FFL first before the practice company, and I just, I was looking for something a little more local. I thought I had to have a little more local something with me, to be able to resources, and I ended up finding someone with a practice company in Louisiana that I just felt comfortable with. I knew the area, and kind of got involved with them. Drove down to Louisiana, worked down there for a couple of days, and then came back up here, and then realized, man, I made a mistake. I really need to reach back out to those guys. So that's where I reached back out to Andrew, and we got everything set up and transitioned over, and he's been a tremendous help, because I was really green in it, and needed that guidance. I mean, I did a lot of in-home, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I'm sitting here with Miss Smith, and I got a couple of questions with you. What do we need to do? We utilize Zoom now on a daily basis. Yeah, we utilize Zoom still on a daily basis. Even though I don't need to ask them a whole bunch of questions. We still run Zoom calls where we have people come on and can listen and share. And I mean, I talk to Drew every day. Other than Sunday, neither one of us work on Sunday.
So how's that transition been from going from in-home to telesales strictly now?
Well, at first, I'm not gonna lie about it. It was really tough the first 2 months. the transition going from in-home where you can read someone's body language and see their face and kind of draw a little bit more of be able to build that rapport, with, you can actually touch them. They can touch you, see each other. It was a little bit more of a transition for me to go from in-home to telesales. It was a little more difficult. I really had to rethink what to say, when to say it, and how to do it to be able to get it to work. But it's worked, and it's worked out fine. I think I got a pretty good grip on it. Every day you still got to get up and do what you need to do because rent's due,
Yeah, you mentioned it took you a little bit of time to to figure it out. It took a couple months. So during that time when you're figuring it out, maybe you struggled a little bit, maybe you didn't get the results you were looking for. At that point, did you ever get to the point where you're like, forget this, I'm going to go back into seeing them in person?
No, I didn't. I burned that bridge. I really did. I said, this is going to have to work. I was just, I burned that bridge. There was no point of return. Me and my wife worked together. She would be my appointment setter, and then I would be the one on the road running. And we talked about it and said, we just can't maintain doing this. It's better to have a life and to do, telesales. So, we said, nope, this is going to have to work. We got to figure it out. So you put yourself against that you're back in the corner like that. It kind of goes back to the procrastination. You gotta eat that frog and get with it.
For a lot of people, they if they don't have immediate success or they don't get the type of results that they're expecting right away. This is all expectations based off of theoretical because you haven't done it yet,
or experience.
So I think for a lot of people, they just say, I don't see results right away, and then they go back to what's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And then you stuck with it. You knew ultimately what you wanted to do. Fought through the struggle. And then you eventually made it through on the other end stronger.
Well, I've always taken an approach that if someone else has done it, then I can do it. Within limitations. I'm not going to be an astronaut anytime soon and go to the moon or anything. But I've always looked at things and if someone else has done it within the limitations, I can grow, I can stretch, and I don't mind being uncomfortable, because when you get uncomfortable, once you break through being uncomfortable, is generally a breakthrough of success. And that's, I've always seen that happen. And that's what happened with the telesales, going from in-home to telesales. Right. So, yeah, I've done a couple Ironman events, and to kind of relate it to the Ironman event, I saw other people do it, and I'm like, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. I just got to put in the effort and the time and training, and just grin and bear it and do it. And it worked out. So.
Well, William's putting your gym story to shame.
Yeah, this is the wrong guy to have on right now with me here.
Okay. Well, I totally agree with you, William. I believe if other people can do it, you have the capacity to do it. You have the ability to do it. No one said it's going to be easy. No one said it's going to come instantly like that. However, when it comes to people being able to do it, so if you're able to do up to this point, you were able to help over 30 families last month. Great job, first of all.
Nice.
But if you're able to do it, how do other people do it? What's your schedule look like?
Thank you.
How many appointments you run a week? What type of leads or how many leads are you getting a week? Like what's your schedule and everything look like?
Yeah.
So what we do, and really a great resource for the leads that we're going to talk about is Drew. Drew's running this program as well. So if anyone wants to learn more about it, they can reach out to Drew or reach out to me, and we'd be happy to help with that. I run strictly Facebook targeted niche down leads, and we're getting anywhere from 20 a day to 30 a day. Now I'm not shy on spending money. I started off spending a little bit, and I've always believed that if you find success, then push it, push it up, like you're playing blackjack or dice, when the table's running good, you add a little bit more money to it, increase your odds some. So we started off at about $5,000 a month in ads in marketing spend. And now, we're pushing about 10,000 a month in spend, so, but you got to start somewhere. If you don't have 10,000, that's no big deal. Start somewhere. You just got to get going with it. So we use a lot of technology. I have a couple of dollars that take these leads, and they'll call them and set appointments for me. I flip them from that over into a agent CRM, where I have some built-in systems that are sending reminders and sending videos and letting people kind of assist them. My wife Jamie, she calls as well, so she's here in the house. She is the one that telesales. You have a tremendous no-show rate is very high.
Right.
It can go anywhere from 50% to over 70% a day. It happens. It's part of it. Your expectation needs to be, that's what it is. It's a high no-show rate. So don't own the outcome. Just do the work. Now, she calls all of the no-shows appointments is what we call them, the ones that didn't answer the phone, and reschedules them. Now, I run anywhere from 15 appointments a day to 30 a day. But saying that, it's not difficult labor because, I'm on the phone with the headset and I got my script and I've worked it and I've tweaked it. But there again, last Friday I had 30 appointments and it was a goose egg, man. I made no sales. Half of them, it was more than half no show, but early in the week I had a day with, I figured light appointments is about 12. And I got, a couple of apps, done, so there's no rhyme or reason to that. You just gotta, like I say, just get with it. Now, I think I'm doing, you can say a couple hundred leads a month, and there again, it doesn't sound like a lot because when I ran home, we would buy, God, I would wait for that sale, man, and I would just stack them up and then just burn through them, calling and make those appointments. But you still had no shows. Other than in home, you drive across town, knock on a door, and they would not answer the door and look at you through the window. At least this way you can call them and no one answers the phone, hang up and just call the next person. Or go through the stack and call some people that hadn't been touched yet. Now, I set my schedule. I've learned at first I had it spread out to where I was giving everybody 30-minute time between them or so. And I would sit there with a lot of downtime. And I think I'm just like everyone else. You get a lot of downtime, you find other things to do. Right. It's just not good. You start playing on the internet or, going to look at podcasts or reading a book or something. And that's just like, no. So I set it up to where I have an appointment able to book every 10 minutes, whether or not it's the dollar booking it or they self-book. And, you got to look at the odds. The odds are half of them are going to answer the phone. And if they're really serious about it, when you get them on the phone and you're late, you just apologize and say, hey, I apologize for being late. I was helping the last person. It took longer than I needed to. I hope you can understand that. How can I help you? And just go into it. And very rare do I have someone get angry with me, but they do. And I look at it like if they're going to be angry because I'm 10 or 15 minutes late, then want to holler at me, then do we really want to do business with them? I can say no too.
That's true.
Yeah. So yeah, but we run a lot of Facebook ads. It's mainly Facebook and Instagram, and it can be fickle. Sometimes something happened on a weekend and lead flow is zero, or a system didn't work. It didn't flow zap from one page to another page or something. So, it's just some of those things you just got to roll with. It's just part of being in business.
That's a great perspective to have. And I think we all experience that to some degree. The thing is where you could have a bad day, you have a bad few days, you have a bad week. But the thing is, I think the healthy thing that William is talking about here is just looking at it from a bigger picture. Mm-hmm. Those days will come and go. It happens. You can have a few great days, and doesn't mean that's going to be like that every single day either.
Yeah. So from your work schedule, are you working Monday through Sunday, some weekends, Monday to Friday? How many days are you speaking with clients?
And how many hours a day?
Okay, so I've lived and learned, and I've adjusted it. And I'm on Central Time. I'm here in Arkansas, so I start at 9 o'clock. My schedule opens Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock, and I had been running Saturdays from 10 to 1. Now we're big college football fans, so I got the game running in the background. And and my wife, she's a fanatic fan, so she'll get to screaming at the TV every now and then. So I got to tell people, what's going on. It's not screaming at me. I'm not getting shot or anything. It's someone fumbled or something, So here recently, since the weather has changed, we got some springtime going on. I was debating, and I cut a few Saturdays out just to have another day off. But I'm kind of going to shift back to Saturdays and take a different perspective on it, and try to run down a lot of the folks that scheduled appointments that didn't, because truthfully, I'm behind the numbers of where I want to be. So I mean, I know that in order to get back in front of where I want to be and stay consistent, because you're right. I mean, you have good days, you have bad days, you have great days, and then you have a little bit of a spell that for whatever reason it's just not working. But the numbers, if you have the leads and you have the work ethic, the numbers will always turn out in your favor. You just got to stay after it. So I'm turning Saturdays back on for me, and that's what I'm going to try to do until I feel comfortable with where I am again.
And then on Mondays and
no,
Fridays,
I don't work Sundays. That's a day 9 to 5. Yeah,
9 to 5.
Okay, cool. Well,
yeah.
Drew, I see.
9
Andrew,
to
I
5.
see you.
Yeah, I've tried to do a little bit later than that. What now?
I apologize for speaking over him. It's a little choppy, so I can't tell when you're ending a sentence or we're kind of a little bit of lag.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's okay. But I was actually asking.
Yeah, it would be the week I agreed to do the podcast. Yeah. No, I said it would be the week I agreed to do the podcast, and we have internet problems. I've been on the phone with the internet people for 3 days now. And I'm about to throw it out the door, man. It's driving me insane.
Yeah, my internet, like my Wi-Fi is worse than like my phone internet
sometimes
at my house. Honestly, most of the time, it sucks.
Well, what I was actually trying to say,
we haven't had an issue until now. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, and Andrew, since you're on here, I just want you work with William. You guys have been working together for a little bit now. Do you have anything else you wanted to add as far as the scheduling, as far as the lead flow, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, Will speaks for himself, right? He's dedicated to the schedule. He plans for success and he follows through with it. And that's something that everyone can mimic in this business, right? It's a very easy, simple wash and rinse cycle. You show up on time, you put your best foot forward each and every day, and the rest will follow. With Will, it was hard to break him out of him working so hard physically on the field each and every day, right? For so many years. And then to get him to sit down for a full day in the same seat and work hard the same way was really hard for him to grasp, right? Like, I remember he was about to punch a hole through his computer. He's like, dude, I don't understand half of this technology stuff, So him being able to break those habits, persevere through the change in trials and tribulations, right? He's now able to master his system, and he has a flow where he doesn't have to think about what's next, right? He knows what he has to do day in and day out because his schedule is already set. So other than that, I mean, speaks for himself, man.
Awesome. Appreciate your input, and good to see you. Speaking of technology, I mean, I was trying to do a sale earlier today. You listened, right? You're on Live Dallas. I was on Live Dallas, and I was just like trying to get the lady. And one of the simpler signature processes,
text signature.
With the text signature with Americo, you just got to read off that 6-digit code. But I was talking to this nice lady, senior. She was out in Illinois, and I was like, "Hey, you're about to receive a text message. Can you read off that 6-digit code?" And she goes, "Oh, I can't do it right now. I'm on the phone." Yeah. And then suddenly, like, I'm trying to walk her. I'm trying to walk her through. I'm like, "Put me on speakerphone and then like remove the phone away from your ear, and then like let's try to pull that up. We had a real difficult time. I think we spent maybe 20 plus minutes on that. We still didn't get it done. So like in the middle of it, I was just waiting for her to try to figure out the email signature. I resent it a bunch of different times, tried different ways, and it got to the point where I was like, this is a battle versus technology, and technology is currently winning, and it's a bloodbath. And so the thing is that even if we understand the process with technology, and the thing was, I didn't get upset because number one, it's a client, and I'm trying to walk her through it. She wants the coverage as bad as I want to be able to get it done for her. So, I was trying to be very patient with it because the only thing I can control is me.
Right.
So I can't like fly over there and fly to Chicago and then figure out how to do it for her. My only thing is like, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, how can I better explain this? How can I do a better job myself? Because this is the only way it's going to get done. Mm-hmm. And just trying to take personal responsibility for the things that you can control. And ultimately we got to the point where she was able to open it up, and then she got rejected for it. So we got to get back on, do another policy. So we will get her taken care of. But I just thought it was kind of funny when it comes to technology. So William, if you were struggling with it personally, you're in good company with plenty of other people out there. And they're just, we got to control what we can control.
Yeah, I got a question, William. Like, from that frustration, right? And I'm pretty sure you had frustration from like, all right, the field worked for me, the telesales is not working yet. What would you say to an agent, a new agent coming in, they want to do the telesales because there is the ease of not having to go door to door and get no showed and drive out 2 hours, 3 hours, even farther out than that. What would be the key hurdle that they can overcome? What would be your advice beyond that?
Well, just knowing that it will work, that you just have a little bit of patience with it, and get on the phone with other people and talk with them and ask their experiences. I think one of the key things is to find a Zoom room and log in and listen to what other people are doing and get your script down as far as what you're going to say. Because remember, end of the day, the one that is asking the questions is the one that's going to lead the conversation. It is a little bit different, but man, once you get it down, it is there. So yeah, just to, like I said, the best thing is just to try to surround yourself with other folks that are successful with it. Listen to what they're doing, listen to how they're doing it, and just have faith that in a system that you can do it. Is just lean into it.
Right. Yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, we're on our live dials, and I really enjoy listening to Terrence. I really enjoy listening to JP. And the thing is, I know what I want to say. I already know how to sell. But the thing is, sometimes I'll pick up on little things from what they say. But what's more important, I think, above listening to how to sell, because look, selling's not that hard. Yeah. You just got to do enough of it. Yeah. And you'll figure out how to do it. But the thing is that the thing I really enjoy watching JP and Terrence in particular, because they're just dialing nonstop and they just keep going one after another, one after another, one after another. And I think the biggest thing that I get out of it is just watching them, because they're gonna have people that hang up with them. They're gonna have people that say no. They're gonna have people that for whatever reason, the transaction's not completed. But the thing is, they just laugh and then they move on to the next one. They just laugh, move on to the next one. And so it's like, it's encouraging to watch that type of, enthusiasm for what they do, passion for what they do, or just that willingness to accept, this is my job. This is my profession. Let's just keep powering forward. Right. And I think that's the biggest key for most of you guys. If you guys are trying to say like, hey, I got to get on so I can learn how to sell. It's like, no, you can learn how to sell when you start selling.
And when you start dialing.
Yeah. Well, William, going back to you, I've just got a couple more questions for you.
Telesales is kind of like the game of baseball or golf. You need to, when you get up to bat and you strike out, you better forget about it real quick before you get up to bat again. Right. Just don't let it worry you. And like golf, when you shank the ball and it goes in the woods, just drop another one to hit again. It is what it is. It's going to happen. Yeah. So you're right. Just keep going and keep moving forward, and just the quicker you can forget about it, and don't take the outcome personal. So when someone cusses on you or slams the phone down, or says, "Well, I didn't think this was about insurance. I thought this was some free thing I was going to get." Well, okay, well, let's talk about do you have coverage? You don't have coverage, and if it's not going anywhere, then just move to the next person.
Great advice. So Matt, I'm asking another piece of advice from you. So if there's new agents out there watching, the people that are struggling, what would your advice be to them?
Just have faith in yourself, confidence, and just do the action. Just do it. Just like Nike, just do it. I mean, you can't keep procrastinating. It kind of goes back to the beginning of the call. The more you procrastinate doing it, the worse in your mind is going to build up of what it is. No one's going to eat you. No one's going to come hit you. Just do it. Take action. Action will overcome almost everything.
Right. And then we heard a little bit about your weekly schedule as far as how you get your week set up for success. As far as a day-to-day basis, like what's your daily schedule look like? Do you have to do anything to prep in before actually sitting down and hunkering down and just running appointments, or what's the schedule look like daily?
Any pre-workout?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm one of these crazy freaks that gets up early in the morning, so if you want me to call you when I get up, I'll be rolling you out of bed about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I don't think you want that. So, but I get up real early, and I spend time with, with meditation and prayer, catch up on reading, news, mentally prepare. Weather permits, I do a little physical activity outside, either run, walk, or what have you. I don't like going to the gym either. But I love being outdoors, so I'll get outside and do something. Now we still use a paper system. So even though, we have leads on spreadsheets and it transfers over to a CRM, I prep my day the day before with all my appointments on a piece of paper in a file labeled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with all the pertinent information I need on it. And, I have a stand-up desk. I believe in being able to stand up, present. I'll talk and have good full air breath movement. I set my office up as far as with one of those all scent deals where you can put some all in it and get a nice aroma in the room to, where you can get really kind of get going and get motivated as well. I like looking out the window, so I have my blind open, have a bird feeder and a hummingbird feeder out in front of it, so I get to see a little bit of bird activity and a little bit of nature. So that's how I set my day up. I prep the day before. My wife preps all the sheets and puts them in a folder. I take the folder, I put it there. I have multiple calendars, but I still look at my one on the phone. It's so easy because you pull it up on the phone, you hit call, and it calls for people. You don't have to dial a number, to miss a digit or anything. So I get started real early, and then I've learned through business that when you end your day, you end your day. Don't let that flow into your personal life. And it's real hard because we live together, husband and wife team, and I have to tell her, time out. Hey, we ended today. We can talk about that in the morning. Unless it's a real bad dumpster fire, come 5:30 is done. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, all really good practical advice. And the thing is, it's not really necessarily just about selling. It's more about how do you make it more palatable for you to get through your day every single day, to continue to do the work. Because look, you're never going to love every single thing that you do about your job. And if you believe that, who told you that?
Yeah, for real.
I don't understand that. But one last question for you, William. Aside from money, what do you do this for?
Well, really, the money is just secondary. I mean, really, I do it because I see the value that it creates for folks, from the personal side of it. It really is a good feeling to know that you were able to take that burden from somebody when they pass away, to where it's not going to reach out and make the kids, their children, which adult children, take from their grandchildren their college fund or new car fund or graduation high school money to go pay for the parents' funeral or support mom. We've all heard those stories. even though I've been in the business a minute, I hadn't been anywhere near as long as you have. I still have had a couple of death claims, and it, you know, I never will forget the first one. You know, I mean, the son called and said, "Hey, you know, I got your business card. I know my parents had, you know, a policy with you. Dad passed away." I'm like, "Oh man," you know, so I had to work through it. You know, it was being reviewed from the carrier, so I had to, you know, get the information they needed, get it to the wife, and sit down with the son, because the wife was just, you know, distraught. Tell them what they needed to do and how to do it, and they got it done, and they got the check, and everyone was happy. You know, I mean, she was able to carry on financially, you know, even though she was, you know, emotionally distraught. You know, so that's a good feeling. Same reason why I sold real estate. I sold real estate because it made me feel good to be able to know someone got in that home, especially a first time home buyer, or they were able to sell that home. Same thing. It's just helping people. It's just doing the right thing, helping folks. You know, they need it. We're able to provide it and have great resources with the number of carriers with options to be able to get people approved.
Love it. Love it. So
money's secondary. You do a good job at, if you care about folks, you do a good job, money's secondary.
Absolutely. So I'm glad you found your purpose. Glad you have your reasons. No wonder why, with that work ethic and your commitment to just seeing it through and being a professional, no wonder you've been able to help that many families. So William, I really appreciate you making time for us. I'm glad we finally got an opportunity to have you on, and I'm sure helped a lot of people out there.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity, everything that you do and everyone does. And I guarantee you, next time we do this, we will not have this internet issue.
Yeah, next time we'll have better internet connection. You can do an Ironman for us while you're on.
I'm done with that. No more of those. No more full. I'll do a half, but 70 mile, no more full. No, too much training, not enough time.
Got it.
Hardcore.
All right. Well, thank you very much for hopping on and sharing with us. That was really great stuff, and looking forward to continuous big things from William. And for everyone else out there, please go apply some of this to your guys' own respective, businesses. We all have the opportunity to be able to do this. Don't procrastinate on that. Hopefully we can get that across to you guys today. Let's go out there and let's be elite, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Have a good one.